على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. خل المقادير تمضي لا تغالبها، فإن من غالب الأقدار مغلوب. إن القضاء لسيف لا يقاومه شيء من الخلق إلا وهو محبوب. وامشي رويدا مع الأقدار في مهل، فإن من يكره الأقدار متعوب. سلم وفوض لحكم الله محتسبا، فإنما الأمر مقضي ومكتوب. والله يقضي بما شاء وكيف يشاء، والعبد عبد ومخلوق ومربوب. ولم يزل ربه الرحمن يكلأه، باللطف والحفظ محفوف ومصحوب. حسن ظنونك بالرب الكريم، ولا تسيء ظنا فتبقى عنه محجوب. واعمل لنفسك أعمالا تسر بها، فكل ما يفعل الإنسان محسوب. إن كان خيرا فخير سوف يحصده، أو كان شرا فتنكيل وتعذيب. يا ويل من ضيع الأعمار في زلل، وكل من كسبه الآثام والحوب. واطلب علوما مع إقبال مع عمل، فأنت بالعلم والأعمال مطلوب. واحذر زمانك هذا إنه زمن، به المناكير شاعت والمعايب. فكن وحيدا فريدا خاملا حذرا، فإن فيه الأقاويل الأكاذيب. والظلم فاش بلا لوم ولا نكر، وللمساكين تخويف وترهيب. فكن لبيتك حلسا لا تفارقه، إلا لشيء له في الشرع تصويب. واذكر إلهك ذكرا دائما أبدا، فالذكر بالذكر مقرون ومصحوب. وذاكر الله يجالسه، فاجلس مع الله تأتيك المواهب.
Test testing.
أجمعه، فالخير يا ذا لديه والمطالب. لا تسأل الله كريم الوجه خالقنا، فعنده الفضل والإحسان مسكوب. واعكف على بابه في كل ما نفس، فإن نسيانه يا صاحبي حوب. وكن أخي بحبل الله معتصما، فكل حبل سواه فهو مقطوب. واسلك على سنة الهادي تفوز، وفي أولاك ترضى وفي أخراك محبوب. ففي اتباع النبي الخير أجمعه، عليه منا صلاة ربي يدوب. تغشاه
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we pray that Allah bless us in this blessed month of Sha'ban with forgiveness and answering our prayers. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and with health, that we are able to reach the month of Ramadan Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa ballighna Ramadan. And we pray that Allah make us reach the blessed month of Ramadan, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in piety, increase us in remembrance of Allah, increase us in akhlaq, increase us in every goodness that is asked by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah bless us and with tawfiq. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So inshallah we will look at so many of the questions that are posted. So now when we will look at the first question, and he is asking, Asalamalaikum, waalaikum assalam. I married my first cousin. We are now divorced 4 years. I want to remarry. My ex-husband is the only living male on my father's side. I am afraid to ask him to be my wali. Is there a way out? What if he refuses? Can I use wali hakim? Thank you. So the question is asking a lady married the cousin from the father's side, and this is important for us to understand when it comes to guardianship, wilaya, that one of the valid guardian or the valid wali is our a girl's father's brother, son. So if the father has passed away, meaning the uncle to this girl, then the son becomes the wali. The son becomes the wali. But at the same time also, it is permissible for cousin to marry cousin. It is permissible to marry your uncle's children. Meaning if the girl for example now the boy is considered to be the cousin in the sense that he is the son of the uncle, meaning the brother to the father of the girl. So there are two things here. Number one, we say it is permissible for them to get married, and this is basically what the question is saying, that they are indeed they are married, but now they are divorced. Now they are divorced, and there is no other living male on the father's side. So this is important also, because when it comes to guardianship, we are only speaking about the asaba, that is the father's side. The father's father, then only comes for example the son, and then the uncles, and then the sons of the uncles, and so on and so forth. So it has to be based on this sequence. So now, since he is the only living male, and the only living wali from the father's side, then he is the wali. He is the wali. Nobody else can take his place. Nobody else can, unless he pass away. Unless he pass away, or na'uzubillah min zalik, he what you call it became a non-Muslim or something. What you call it, that is not to that effect. But now he is still alive. Your cousin is still alive. You are no longer married to him, and you want to get married to somebody else, and there is no other wali except him. Then he is the wali. Then he is the wali. So what you need to do is, when you register for the marriage, you will inform the Mahkamah Sharia or the ROMM. Tell them that you have a cousin, the only living male from your father's side, that he is the sole wali that is present, and they will understand, of course, and they will know this. And then they will look at the records and so on and so on and so forth. So they will make any arrangement for your cousin to be the wali. So you do not even have to directly contact your cousin, but it's better for you to inform him first. But since you have some issues with him, you can choose to just seek help from the ROMM. So they will contact him, and they will explain to him the situation. And then if he doesn't want to become the wali, he literally doesn't want, and he said, I don't want to get involved in all these things, then only the wali hakim will do the marriage for you. But the wali hakim cannot do the marriage as long as he is still present, and they need to ask him first, because he is the priority. But unless if he doesn't want, and he says that I do not want to get involved for example, you see in Singapore people, the ROMM cannot force people to be the wali. There are people, for example, broken families, they do not want to get involved, and even in their sisters marriage and so on and so forth. So if they make such statement, then the wali hakim can come in. But usually what will happen is that they delegate. If your cousin for example he doesn't want to get involved in all these things, so what the ROMM usually will tell him, okay, it's okay, you just sign for us a form to show that you delegate this wilaya to a particular person, for example. So he does this tawkil. He does tawkil, and that is the easiest for him. The easiest for him. So if he doesn't want to attend, for example, the majlis nikah because of some personal issues, and since the girl used to be his wife and so on and so forth, he doesn't want to be present. So what he can do is he delegate other people that need to become the wali, but the wilaya comes from him. So there are two possibilities. Possibility number one is what I mentioned. He reject in becoming a wali at all costs. This situation is number one. In that situation, any wali hakim steps in. But if he doesn't want to attend the majlis, so he will be advised to delegate somebody else. So delegate a person within the staff of the ROMM under the wing of the magistrate. So he does the delegation. So the marriage can be performed by delegation. So this is the way out. Now when we go on to the next question. Next question asks, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May this message finds you in the best state of health and Imaan. I am a single 27 years old female. I would like to ask the Islamic ruling of undergoing invasive medical examinations such as the vaginal speculum exam to assist in diagnosis of cervical cancer. Does this goes against Islam? Will this mean that I have lost my virginity? Thank you for your time in answering my questions. Barakallahu, feekum, Ustaz. The question is basically asked by a female who has not who is not married yet, and she mentioned that she is asking for what is the ruling when it comes to vaginal speculum. So maybe I will just explain what I understood from this term of vaginal speculum exam. So it is basically what you call it, a practice where the doctor put in a kind of clip, inside the vagina, so that the clip can hold the walls of the vagina in order for the doctor to examine the internal part of the vagina. So by doing so, if a girl is a virgin, what you call it, the vein, the vein in your virginity will burst. The vein in your virginity will burst, and there might be blood and so on and so forth. So there are two questions that I can understand. I can see from this question. Number one, what is the ruling of this kind of examination? And number two, does going to this form of examination make a woman lose the virginity? So number one, in Islam, it is permissible, and if there is any reason to, of course, if there is any reason to, for example, if a woman, for example, having internal infection inside the vagina, and the doctor wants to access and to see what is what you call it, the issue that is what is happening, for example. So they need to inspect. There is a need for them to see, for example, if there is any rashes or there is any abnormalities, for example, that is happening. So they need to open up the vagina, and they need to look inside. So if there is a need to do so, yes, it is permissible. Yes, it is permissible. And looking at the aura is permissible if there is a need to do so. So for example, in terms of treatment, in terms of medical examination, what you call it, if there is any pain on certain areas, and that is the part for the aura, so it is permissible for the doctor to look at it. Because why? Because there is a need. So it is not any haram, it is permissible. This is question number one. Number two, when comes to losing of the virginity, we have to understand when our scholars in books in chapter of nikah, when they speak about whether a woman is virgin or non-virgin, the definition of a virgin is someone who has not undergone any sexual intercourse. That is the definition of virgin. It is not any about whether the vein of virginity has burst or has not burst, but it is whether the girl has undergone any sexual intercourse. So for example, if you look the book of Al-Miftah, Kitabul Miftah, the author speaks about the definition of virginity. So he said that the definition of virginity is if there is no sexual intercourse, whether this sexual intercourse is halal or haram, whether it is through marriage or it is through na'udzubillah min zalik, to adultery or fornication. So that woman is not a virgin anymore. In Arabic we call it a thayyib. But when comes to this issue, for example, the vein of virginity burst, it can be a lot of reason. For example, there are girls for example who are very active in sport, and they ride horses for example in certain countries. So normally they it bursts at an early age. Likewise, if a woman falls down, all this I mentioned in books fiqh. So to determine virginity is not about the existence of that vein, but it is whether a girl has undergone any sexual intercourse or has not undergone sexual intercourse. So in this situation you do not lose your virginity. Now we go on to the next question. Asalamualaikum Ustaz. Waalaikumsalam. Bila sampai ke masjid untuk solat fardhu jumaat, azan zuhr sudah habis dan hendak bermula khutbah atau khutbah sudah bermula, bolehkah kita solat 2 rakaat tahiyatul masjid serta bergabung dengan niat qabliyah jumaah? Kalau sekiranya khatib sudah naik mimbar, tidak dibolehkan kita melakukan apa jenis solat melainkan tahiyatul masjid. Tidak dibolehkan kita melakukan apa jenis solat melainkan tahiyatul masjid, dan diwajibkan kita mengambil yang wajib sahaja. Tidak dibolehkan kita baca surah, tidak dibolehkan kita memanjangkan rukuk, memanjangkan sujud. Kita hanya ambil apa yang apa yang wajib. Maka tahiyatul masjid bergabung dengan qabliyah dibolehkan. Naik tahiyatul masjid bergabung dengan niat qabliyah, maka hanya dibolehkan 2 rakaat, bukan 4 rakaat. 2 rakaat yang ringkas. Jadi saya harap kita boleh faham insya-Allah ya. Assalamualaikum. Waalaikumsalam. Bolehkah saya menerima buah-buahan dari jiran saya yang berbangsa Cina yang menurut beliau buah-buahan itu telah pun disembahyangkan mengikut agama mereka? Oleh kerana terlalu banyak, saya mengambil 1 beg plastik. Tetapi saya belum makan kerana saya masih ragu-ragu. Apakah hukumnya? Terima kasih. Asal buah-buahan halal. Asal buah-buahan halal, sama ada diberi oleh Cina ke, diberi oleh orang Islam ke, ataupun orang yang bukan Islam, tidak ada masalah, kita boleh memakannya. Tetapi sekarang masalahnya, soalan ini mengatakan ia sudah disembahyangkan. Ini kita nak kena faham ya. Ia sudah disembahyangkan. Jadi kita nak kena faham apakah maksud dia sudah disembahyangkan. Kalau kita lihat agama mereka akan meletakkan buah-buahan di hadapan berhala, ataupun mereka akan bakar dan sebagainya, dan mereka akan menghadiahkan buah-buahan itu kepada berhala mereka, ataupun kepada Tuhan mereka yang mereka i'tiqad sebagai Tuhan. Maka dalam keadaan seperti ini tidak dibolehkan kita memakan buah-buahan tersebut, sebab ia sudah diniatkan kepada berhala. Itu sebab kita dalam Al-Quranul Karim, daripada perkara yang Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala mengharamkan adalah makanan-makanan yang disembelih kerana berhala, ataupun makanan-makanan yang diniatkan kepada berhala. Jenis makanan seperti ini tidak dibolehkan kita memakannya. Tetapi kalau sekiranya dia setakat memberikan kepada kita buah misalan, tidak ada masalah di dalamnya kalau dia setakat buah. Jadi di sini hukumnya berbeza di antara kita mengatakan sesuatu perkara dihadiahkan kepada berhala dan satu perkara yang tidak dihadiahkan. Jadi kita harus faham perbezaan di antara perkara tersebut, walaupun kita mengatakan asal buah-buahan ini merupakan makanan yang halal. Jadi insya-Allah kita berhenti di sini, dan insya-Allah kita akan meneruskan pada minggu yang akan datang. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin.
والأصحاب أجمعهم ومن لمذهبهم في الخير منسوب والحمد لله رب العالمين.